Among the most pleasant attractions associated with living in the tropical environment of eastern Venezuela were the beautiful flowers. Dorothy Howland always kept a gardenia bush well watered and fertilized outside her kitchen door. Gardenias like acid soil and fertilizer, but they are susceptible to nematodes. Dorothy cared for her plants with a passion, and they were quite productive. The delicate petals were like thin white velvet, and there was always a spray of these lovely flowers on a table in the living room. They have a very sweet smell like some jasmine flowers and added a delightful perfumed aroma to the air of our home. In my travels through the Venezuelan countryside, as well as up and down the streams and rivers, I often spotted wild orchids. On one occasion, I was driving through La Vieja and saw a splash of purple in a tree. It was there I found this beautiful orchid that I carried home to Dorothy. With plenty of water and fertilizer, we could grow almost anything on the Mesa de Guanipa. There were several varieties of bananas. This banana tree was planted in our backyard and was known as the manzana, or apple banana. It was fairly good, but a little starchy. I learned later that a variety known as the rabo de mula, or mule's tail, was much sweeter and far better tasting than any banana I had ever eaten in the United States. Joe Barbieri whacked off a stalk in our backyard, and everyone enjoyed our manzana variety. Fresh eggs were hard to come by when I first arrived in Santa Fe, so I fenced the backyard of our assigned house and purchased some chickens. This resolved the egg problem, and when the hens quit laying, we had roast chicken. A short time later, Joe Segui and his two brothers went into the chicken business. They built a large chicken house and created an irrigated farm southeast of El Tigre. From then on, we had a good supply of fryers that were ideal for barbecue cookouts in the backyard, and plenty of fresh eggs as well. The Guanipa River was a favorite spot for Sunday afternoon outings with friends and neighbors like Cliff and Vi Gaddy. Here, Dorothy and Vi are wading, but very careful to stay out of the deep water. Paella Valenciana was our favorite meal for these cookouts and picnics, but I had a problem adjusting the heat using sticks of wood. The leaves of the chaparro tree were almost as rough as sandpaper. Here, Dorothy uses the leaves to scrub the soot off the paella or skillet. Johnny just played in the wet pile of sand. Although the Guanipa River was deep, these explorers waded in the shallows, where there were no man-eating Caribes to nip their toes. We often brought dip nets and captured aquarium-sized angelfish in the shallow waters near the shoreline. One of the big events associated with life in Santa Fe was meeting the company plane when it returned from flights to Caracas. Returning vacationers and new employees were often on board, and it gave everyone a chance to keep up with the latest news. In the early 50s, Red Irwin and Bob Morgan were the pilots. After retirement, they were replaced by Walter Edel. Walter was an ex-Bush pilot and had his own plane, a World War II Grumman F-4F fighter he converted into a wonderful three-passenger plane for exciting fishing expeditions. In 1950, Ben Breeding was my next-door neighbor. He was a tool pusher and an avid quail hunter from Mathis, Texas. Ben had a setter bird dog named Champ. and I spent one enjoyable afternoon taking pictures of Ben and his wonderful bird dog as they hunted for quail on the Mesa de Juanipa. Bobwhite quail were plentiful in eastern Venezuela, and Champ lives up to his name as a champion bird dog. Ben was a good shot, a very good shot, and he seldom missed. Here Champ has pointed something. His tail, he's a pointer, but he's kind of got a crook in his tail, as you can see. He was an excellent hunting dog. This appears to be a false point. Ben took excellent care of Champ. He carried a gut can full of water and used his hard hat as a basin to bathe and cool him. Further, he never overworked him in the 90-degree heat. Champ didn't object and seemed to enjoy the bath and the drink of cool water. After a period of rest and a cooling bath, it was time to go again. Here, Ben is hunting through what he called mint grass, a favorite cover for quail. The covey flies, Ben shoots, and Champ retrieves. It was the end of a fine afternoon of hunting. Ben did the hunting, but he put a young Venezuelan boy and his own two children, Hank and Beth, to work plucking the feathers from his trophies. When the birds were cleaned, they were well wrapped and stored in the freezer. They made fine food for the table. The climate of San Tome was beautiful. 81 degrees Fahrenheit, average year-round temperature. Never got below 60 degrees, and I never saw it above 95 degrees. Always had a trade wind from the northeast. Very nice climate.